or you wouldn't be able to rectify the flooding issue. You're going to be rectifying all the other things that the folks have said that is a problem there with magically building this prison. And then when you look at safety issues, like the family living next to the prison, this, you have to look at safety issues and the like. And now when hearing about being within the flight path of the airport, prior planning is not being done here, at least not being done properly. And in years from now, if this thing is built, you're going to have more and more problems. And I don't understand why you don't see that. It's plain to all of us, but it's not plain to you. So that tells me that there's other things going on here.
There's one more
why
thing.
You're pushing it. Is it this? Or what? I don't know. And then second, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. And secondly, presuming that this does get built, staffing of it, you're going to put Miller in charge of it? That is a joke. And the COs that are over there now?
You can make all the public comments you want.
I can talk over you.
We will not stand for making personal attacks.
Well, I'm going to talk over you because you're not going to out yell a staff sergeant. It's just that simple. When you have COs over there, and I know this for a fact, who a few of them claim that their job is not to oversee the inmates unless they're classified. How do I know this? Because one of them was overheard saying that in a convenience store by one of my sons who works at another prison.
That's hearsay. That's hearsay.
Yeah, okay. This isn't a legal. This is a illegal meeting, so rules of hearsay don't apply.
As somebody who spent time as an inmate inside the prison, I can speak to all validity of it.
I got one more thing to add too about the flooding issue. It's not just a flooding issue. When a flooding occurs, it backs up the sewage system, and raw sewage is going into Gifts Creek every time it rains. The DEP's been investigating this place for 5 years. Major problems, but not one citation has been written to nobody. Does anybody care about the raw sewage going into Gifts Creek? No. Mr. Gallo has 60,000 gallons of oil in his oil tanks. Now, when it floods, these tanks float, okay? He's got one pipe at the bottom. When that pipe cracks, you're going to have a major disaster down there, and nobody cares. I spent, I don't know how many thousands of dollars defending my business down there from sewage and water. This is what I got to deal with to work in Fayette County. You want jobs here? Take care of the place down there, because I should have 10 people working for me right now. Okay? Right now, if you give me $5, I'd sell you that place and be gone.
I'm sure that the North Union Township supervisors are aware of the
problems. What do you mean you're sure? It's been going on for 6 years. 6 years. The DEP, I don't say they're not going to do the job, but are they corrupt? Do these people, do they have to abide by the laws like we do?
No.
You have permits that aren't issued. You have permits for nothing is done legally down here, nothing. But when you go, you know what it would cost? It costs me, the business owner, because I have to get an attorney to fight all this stuff to stay in business in an industrial park which shouldn't even have flooding issues. I don't have wetlands on my deed, but I do now. The DEP tells me we can't build a berm back there to stop the flooding because they haven't detained how much or considered how much of that area is wetlands. This is my property. All right? I've been trying to expand this business now for the past 6 years. Does anybody care about the flooding going on down here? Does anybody care about the raw sewage going into the creeks? The DEP.
I'm sure there are.
But nobody's doing nothing. It's costing me
I'm not
money
sure
over
I'm
and
not
over
sure that's
and
the
over.
fact, and this is not.
There's one more thing. There's one more thing I want to say.
Could you make it quick?
Yeah, I'm going to make it real quick because which ends with all of this down there. Okay, it's costing me thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to stay in this place. All right, we've been to every organization, DEP, Fayette County, Redevelopment Authority, everybody. Now, we're gonna be putting some spotlight on the area that you're gonna build this prison at, because the next flood that comes, every news station is gonna be there. You're gonna have helicopters in the air, and we're gonna expose just what the hell has been going on in this industrial park for the past 8 years. And you want jobs in this county? Do things right.
Yeah.
Do things right. You lost 4 businesses down there in the past 2 years. 40 jobs are gone. These people are losing their investment. I invested my whole life into my business. It's worthless. It's in a flood zone. It's in a flood zone of an industrial park. It cost me $7,000 a year for flood insurance, sir. I've been canceled twice by 2 insurance companies. My liability insurance has tripled because of the claims that we're having for the flooding going on down there. Is anybody going to do anything about it? Or do I have to spend another $100,000 for attorneys to get somebody to look at this? We've got engineering reports, all kinds of reports from the DEP, and nobody's doing it. And you want jobs in this county? Well, you've got 2 more businesses ready to go.
Is there anybody new that has some public comments? Yes, sir.
Your early work reports said that it was feasible to build out back or add on to the jail out back. I don't feel you've done your due diligence,
But
because you have not run an ad.
It's feasible, but it's not economical.
You keep saying that you need to go 1 story and so forth. But by the time all of these problems that these people and I believe them all. And there's, you know, if they're digging up a foundation for the Slater building without a DEP permit, where does that put you guys if you're obligating the county to make a deal with this company? You haven't explored all of the other options. You might think you have, but you haven't. You have not run an ad for private property. It's only the people that some of you have talked to, and word got out that way. But there's got to be a lot of other private property owners who don't know Mr. Killinger, or who don't know you personally to run and bump into you. You don't know what else could be out there, where you might be able to find better land closer to downtown, since you guys refuse to go out back, which makes sense. You're going to destroy Uniontown as a capital. It's the capital of the county. It doesn't make sense to me when you have not run an ad and you think that people have to come to you. Well, what about private property owners who don't even know that you're in the market? Believe it or not, some people don't read local media. They really don't. And until you get it on the TV news that you have floods where or whatever, or this building's going up without a DEP permit, with your architects and so forth, they may not know or they may not care. So I just feel that you have not done due diligence, and every time you say that, you just anger everybody here, because you haven't even run an ad in the paper for private property, except for the jail annex. And you got 1 response and you blew it off. So that's just my opinion. And I asked you an email last night about the Slater building with the without having a permit. That's a
piece of private property. That has no concern.
But they're your engineer and your architect. Are they aware? Is Mr. Crabtree aware that that building's going up without a DEP permit? I bet he's not.
Mr. Crabtree doesn't own that. That's not his.
No, but he's going to rent it. That's his good name. He's the one representing the county in all of this.
Slater and Crabtree are
No.
Yes, they are putting up an office building.
They're building
And they
an
do
office
not have a
building.
sewage permit for it, and it's under construction as we speak. You can't get a building permit without a sewage permit, and it happened here.
Where's the location?
In the,
Up by the Penn State, or the State Police?
And the property that we're talking about here today?
that's
No.
two separate.
No?
No, they're over in
We have to
technology
question the
park next to
integrity of
the
the
state
people that we're
police.
dealing with.
Okay, so your point is then that Crabtree and Slater Engineering are building a piece of property and they do not have permits. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Sir? You know.
Well, we have our planning and zoning director here, so she's just been made aware of it, so she can check into that.
They have the appropriate permits through the office. They wouldn't have gone through the land development plan without the sewage permit. I can't remember offhand, but I do believe I thought that was the North Union Municipal Authority,
Yeah,
or-
the protocol, you have to have a sewage permit to get a building permit.
Okay, so was the building permit issued, Sarah?
The zoning permit was issued, the building permit is, in the process of being issued, yeah.
Okay, in the process of being issued, but we
Yeah, the
just,
sewage permit is, the land development got recorded with, a sewage letter in the file from, I do believe, North Union Municipal Authority.
but, go ahead.
There
sir.
has to be a transmittal letter goes to DEP with a sewage permit.
Are you guys
Now,
hearing that?
that has to be done before they can get a building permit.
Okay, so a building permit has not been issued and will not be issued, is that correct, Sarah? Until, and he's the township supervisor, until you get the transmittal letter and appropriate documents, is that right?
Yeah, that's one of the issues, yes. The other is North Union agreeing for the county to issue those permits because North Union, goes through K2 Engineering.
Right, we don't for Slater.
Okay.
Slater does.
Why is it building if there's no building permit?
So,
Is there any other public comment about
Do you understand that?
the
Okay.
agenda item?
I have a question. You mentioned due diligence. Was due diligence done on the first piece of property, the second piece of property, the third piece of property? If they were it, then what makes us think that this is it now? There is not enough information on this. There are many other avenues here that aren't being explored. And it boils down to the fact that the citizens of the county don't want to spend $16 million on a prison.
I understand.
Well, if you understand, then why are you getting ready to do this?
Because it's needed.
It was
And
needed the
it's
first
needed,
time,
and
it was needed the
it's
second time, and the third time, and the fourth time.
We
So
need
far,
a-
we've had
we
flood
need a
zones, we've had no
cost-effective,
sewage, you've had all these issues come up, but yet you did due diligence. Well, you didn't do due diligence because you didn't know about it when it happened. But you went ahead, you were ready to do this before. And people had to come and say, wait a minute, you don't have sewage. Well, I thought that was already taken care of. You already went and did your due diligence. We look at a place downtown, you don't need to hire a warden, you need to hire a captain. You need a boat captain though, because it's a gigantic. The due diligence wasn't done. So we're as citizens, we're supposed to expect that this time is it. Hey, you did it this time. And we're all saying, we don't think you did.
That's fine. That's fine. We appreciate
It's
your
fine,
comment.
but you don't care. You're gonna do it anyway. So every taxpayer, every voter in this county needs to remember this. Down the road, if it has to be down the road.
Let's not make this into a campaign.
I'm not making it into a campaign. I'm making it into the fact that you don't care about the fact that we're going to go in debt for decades for something that there are other options for. Nobody in this room, I don't think, disagrees with you doing
I don't think there's, now, I know there are people in this room that understands that we're wasting $2.5 million worth of taxpayer dollars every year. The debt service on the new facility
we've all looked at that money,
is
and we've looked at
less than that.
I have one other question that goes along with this. I'm just curious, as I did come in a couple minutes late. This is mainly from my knowledge, but I'd like to know if you guys would publicly like to mention the ad that was in the newspaper. Are you affiliated with those? Whoever did that ad, do you know who did those ads?
I do not, but I
So you have no
appreciate,
contact
but I
with them?
appreciate whoever that is.
Yeah, I do too, especially since you put a website that doesn't exist.
What is?
What are you talking about?
So you guys, you publicly stated that you have no idea who this was that had no.
Well, what does it say on the bottom of the page?
Paid for
Friends of
by
Fayette
citizens
County, yeah.
For a better Fayette County.
Every taxpayer needs to look at.
How
No tax
legitimate is
increase,
this?
no more Salas money, no money from the casino.
Well, I made that
That's what your
statement.
public meetings were all about.
That's what, well, when
John
Mr.
Cofton asked
Cofton
you.
asked me that question at the
Right.
last public meeting, I specifically said that, as we've been going forward, that we've recognized we are running our county facility so inefficiently because it's not efficiently designed, and we're sending many inmates outside the county. And that equates to about a $2.5 million efficiency